terrible thing to say to us. I don't have any money to waste on you or your daughter. Neither of you have a bright future.
Trouble Busters!
My name is Melanie. I got married to my husband Alan at the age of 28. We got pregnant soon after that and have been living a happy life together.
Happy birthday, Dad!
Happy birthday!
Oh, I'm so flattered that you both spent the time to organize a surprise birthday party for me. Thank you, Alan and Melanie.
We had just as much fun planning this party. It was our pleasure.
We've ordered some sushi for the party. We hope that you enjoy it.
That sounds great. I love sushi. Let me call the others into the room.
I was happy being married to Alan, and his parents were both really nice to me. But one day, things suddenly changed.
Mommy, what's wrong with Daddy? Why does he sleep all the time?
Don't worry, honey. Your father will get better soon. A year after our daughter was born, Alan became really sick, and he needed to go to the hospital regularly to be treated. When our daughter turned 5, Alan's condition had gotten worse, and he was in the hospital. Soon after that, Alan passed away due to his illness. It was so unexpected because I truly believed that he would get better. I wanted Alan to see Helen grow up. I can't believe that he's no longer with us. I miss him so much already.
Mommy, why are you crying? Why is everyone so sad? Where's Daddy?
Helen. Melanie, you can't cry in front of Helen. You need to be strong for her. I just miss Alan so much. Now that Alan is no longer with us, you're not a part of our family anymore. You need to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. Please don't get in touch with us anymore. How can you say that? Helen is related to you. Don't you have any compassion for her? I don't feel a connection to Helen. I can't have you two relying on us. I suggest you find yourself a job. I can't imagine that Helen is going to grow up and be a decent person without having Alan around. I don't need her as my granddaughter. I need to get over Alan's death, and having you and Helen around isn't going to help me heal.
I feel sad about parting with you and Helen, but I need to support my wife's decision. You're still young. I'm sure that you can find yourself a new man to live with.
How can you say that? We're at Alan's funeral. I can't think about dating another man right now. I want to honor Alan today. Please keep any negative feelings to yourself. We have every right to express our feelings. We were only nice to you because you were married to Alan. With Alan gone, there's no reason for us to stay in touch with you. I understand how you feel about me, okay? I don't think that you do. Basically, you mean nothing to us now that Alan is no longer with us. Make sure that you start packing and get ready to move out of our home. You need to find a new school for Helen, too. Once you've moved out, we won't be getting in touch with you ever again. You can't do this to Helen! Instead of comforting me about losing Alan, Alan's parents decided to turn their backs against me and kick me out of the house. They'd been so nice to me up until now, and suddenly they were being so cruel to Helen and I. I was devastated. 1 month later, it was Helen's birthday. Helen's cousin's birthday was a few days apart, so it was a family tradition for us to celebrate their birthdays together. But now with Alan gone, this year's joint party was going to be a huge disaster. Thank you for inviting us tonight. We didn't expect that you would invite us this year now that Alan's no longer with us. Well, Helen is our granddaughter. Thank you.
Happy birthday to the both of you.
Here are your birthday presents.
Thank you, Grandpa and Grandma.
Thank you. Did you get me that new toy that I asked you for?
Of course we did, sweetie. Go on and open your present.
Wow, this is so cool. Thank you. I'm going to show all my friends. This action figure is really popular right now. Did you also buy me some batteries? I want to play with it now.
Yes, we already put the batteries inside. If you push the button, the toy starts talking. You should give it a try.
Wow, I love it. May I be excused? I'd like to go play with my new toy.
Of course, you play with it as long as you want to.
First, I'm going to have fun staring at my new toy. It's just so cool. This guy is so strong that he can beat anybody.
I didn't know that he was so strong, Kevin. That's a great toy, Kevin. Helen, show us what you got.
Some socks that have holes in them. Is this my birthday present?
Some worn-out socks with holes? Why would you give such a thing to Helen as a gift? You look like you're about to start crying. Helen should be happy that she received a gift at all.
We spent a lot of time looking for a pair of socks with holes in them. I got them from a former colleague. He used to wear them but didn't need them anymore. He told me that he wore them for 40 years. You can see the sweat stains on them. You can't find another pair quite like it.
What is Helen supposed to do with such a thing? They're not even in her size. No gift would have been better than this. Helen, are those happy tears that we're seeing?
It's quite a unique gift. We picked it out especially for you. I'm happy that you see the value in it.
She's not happy at all. How can you do this to my little girl? Helen, now that you're 5 years old, you understand the message incorporated in the present, don't you? I'm sorry, but we no longer consider you to be part of this family. You mean less to us than a livestock on a farm.
I don't understand what you're saying to me. All I know is that you're being very hurtful.
I suppose what I'm trying to tell you is a little too difficult for you to understand.
You need to explain it to Helen using simple words. Otherwise, she won't be able to understand what you're trying to tell her. Look, Helen, listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you. Basically, you're not important to this family, and we have no use for you. Did you get that?
Why are you saying such terrible things to Helen? What has she ever done to you? Secondhand socks are one thing, but making mean remarks about your granddaughter is a big issue on its own. Aren't grandparents supposed to spoil their grandchildren and shower them with love? Do you have no brain at all? You're not seeing the big picture. I'd say the same thing right back at you. You lost your husband and you don't have a career. I don't see how Helen is going to grow up decently in an environment like that. You're not going to be able to give Helen the things that she needs.
That's right.
You won't make enough money at your day job, so you'll end up getting a second job that requires you to work throughout the night.
A night job is tough.
So you're imagining that I'm going to end up poor and not be able to take care of Helen. That's why you're being mean to us? For something that hasn't even happened yet?
Yes, that's right. And we don't want to be associated as your family when that happens. That's why we want to cut all ties with you from today.
That's a terrible thing to say to us. You used to be so kind when Alan was around. I don't have any money to waste on you or your daughter. Neither of you have a bright future.
If you have been prettier, I may have been a little nicer to you, but you're not, so we have no regrets cutting ties with you.
I totally agree. You have no charm. Even if you get a night job at a club, I don't think that men would find you attractive. I've heard enough. Have you ever considered that I may not end up getting a night job? What gives you the confidence to say that? If I work hard, I can make enough money during the day and spend time with Helen when I get home. And I'm going to be conscious about my spending and save up as much money as I can. Stop trying to rationalize the situation. You might think that you're smart because you wear those dorky glasses, but you're not making any sense.
You don't have the ability to earn decent money.
No matter how hard you try, you can't be like us. You were born a loser and you'll remain that way for the rest of your life.
Ugly Helen, take a look at my new toy. Isn't it so cool? Are you jealous?
Yes, it's nice.
Too bad that you won't ever get to play with a toy like this. Are you even listening to me? How about you do everything that I ask you to, since I'm much more important than you?
Why?
How dare you talk back to Kevin? You should show some respect.
I'm really not in the mood to play with Kevin right now.
You're supposed to do whatever Kevin asks. Who do you think you are?
Please don't shout at me. You're both scaring me.
Helen, let's go home. This party is no fun. I comforted Helen as we made our way home, and I decided that I wouldn't have anything to do with my in-laws anymore. During New Year's, they asked us to come over again for a gathering with relatives.
It's been a long time. How have you two been?
Hello, it's nice to see you. We're doing well. Thank you for asking.
Life without Alan must be so lonely and hard. I had been wanting to see how you were doing for some time, so I'm glad that you made it today. Here, Helen. This is a small gift from me. Happy New Year's!
Thank you so much. You're so nice.
Oh, you're growing up to be such a beautiful girl.
Yes, she got her looks from her father. What are you guys doing over here? You don't need to give a gift to that little brat. I don't even consider her family anymore.
How can you be so mean? Helen's still a small child.
You shouldn't waste your time talking to Melanie and Helen. They're both liars and cheaters. How can you say that about us? What have we ever done to you? You should know.
How are they liars? I don't understand where you're coming from.
Melanie owes us a lot of money, but she hasn't paid back a cent to us yet. She has the audacity to spend her money on whatever she wants.
What did you do with the expensive watch I lent you? You'd better not have sold it.
Whenever you two come over to our house, valuable items go missing. I don't think that it's a coincidence. You're stealing from us. Where is this coming from? I have no idea what you're talking about. I never borrowed any money or expensive watch from either of you. And I have no reason to steal from you two. You two are delirious. We're merely stating the facts here. You act all innocent and play the grieving wife, but you only come here to steal from us. None of this is true.
If we're being honest, we think that Melanie was responsible for Alan's death. He was never sick before he married Melanie. That can't be. Melanie wouldn't hurt Alan. I'm sure of it. According to Alan's doctor, his illness was caused by stress at home.
My poor baby. If Melanie had treated him right, he would still be here with us today. He should have married someone better. Melanie brought bad luck into this family.
Are you sure about that?
So if you want to give gifts, give them to Kevin, not Helen.
Yes, that would be so much better.
Wait, don't do this.
I hope that you're not trying to steal my money or hurt me, just like you did with Alan.
I don't think we should hang out with Melanie or Helen. They seem dangerous. Everyone keep your distance from them.
You're right. We should stay away from them.
We'll be leaving right now. Thank you for having us. Goodbye. I couldn't take the awkward stares from the other relatives, so I decided to leave my in-laws' house. I was angry with my in-laws for spreading false rumors about us and making the other relatives believe them. When we got home, we received a call. Hello? How dare you come over to our house and beg for money like a beggar? You're no longer welcome at our house. Helen is Alan's daughter, and her relatives offered her the money as a gift. Besides, you were the one that asked us to come over. I invited you out of courtesy. I didn't expect you to show up. You should have stayed home and not ruined our family gathering. Won't be bothering you again. I understand that we don't see things on the same level, and I don't expect that we'll be seeing each other anymore. As long as you don't show up at my doorstep, I won't have any issues. Okay, understood. I hadn't done anything wrong, but for some reason, Alan's mother was trying to make it all my fault. I had suffered losing my beloved husband, Alan. Why was I being mistreated by his family on top of that? It didn't seem to be fair. As these thoughts were going through my mind, Helen came over to my side.
Mommy, are you feeling all right?
Yes, I'm fine, sweetie. Thank you for worrying about me.
I'm happy if you're by my side. We don't need to go back to Grandma's house anymore. She's not very nice to us.
I'm happiest too when you're by my side. I decided that cutting all ties with my in-laws was the best way forward. I was going to work hard to give Helen the happy life that she deserved. I was lucky enough to find a stable job right away, and although I was a single mother, I was able to give Helen what she needed. Several years passed, and before I knew it, Helen was all grown up. She graduated at top national graduate school and went on to working at a hospital. Good morning. What brings you to the hospital? Are you all right? Melanie, what are you doing here? I work here, as you can see. You look pale, like a zombie, by the way. You're not a doctor, are you? I'm not, but Helen works as a doctor at this hospital. How is that even possible? Helen graduated top of her class from medical school, and after working in a hospital for several years, she started her own practice. She's the hospital director here and manages all the doctors and nurses. Can't believe that she was able to hire so many doctors. The hospital must be doing well. You were penniless with no husband. How were you able to put Helen through medical school? After we cut all ties with you, there was a pandemic, remember? There was a shortage in medical staff, so the government introduced different types of aid to assist people to become medical staff. But you need to be smart to work in the industry. I quit my job at the supermarket and applied for one of the government aid programs and became a laboratory technician. I was willing to do anything if it meant that Helen could have a happy life. I always wondered why you never begged us for help after we kicked you out of the family. Even after the pandemic was over, I was able to keep my job as a laboratory technician because I'm really good at my job. Because my job requires skill, the pay is really good. Helen decided to become a doctor because she wanted to work in this industry to help sick people as well. It's really difficult to get into medical school. I didn't think that Helen would be the type to get in. You need to be raised by both parents to become intelligent. Helen didn't grow up in an environment to become smart. And I'm sure that your pay is not great. Medical school is really expensive. Well, Helen went to a national university, and I was the one that helped her pass her exam, so I didn't need to pay for prep school either. And Helen is really clever, so she graduated top of her class. She also got a full scholarship, so I didn't need to pay any tuition. How is that possible? It seems all too good to be true. And now she runs her own hospital? Helen must be rolling in money. I would say that we're well off. My daughter and her husband lost their job, and they recently moved in with us. As for Kevin, he's over 30 now, but he doesn't work and lazies around the house all day. He wastes money on online games, and he ended up losing all of our savings. As soon as Alan's mother realized that we were well off, her attitude towards me completely changed, and she started telling me all the issues going on at her house. She pretended that she hadn't said all those mean things to us when Helen and I were still suffering the loss of Alan. I wasn't going to let her get close to us now that she thought that we would be useful to her. I won't forgive her. Troublebusters. I'm sorry to hear that. You must be so disappointed since you put so much time and effort into raising Kevin. Is this funny, you? We're really struggling right now. It's hard even putting food on the table. Would you mind lending us some money? I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Where were you when we needed your help? You should have mourned Alan's death with me instead of saying mean things to me and shutting Helen and I out. But we're family. As family, you should help us. I'm not related to you, and I don't consider you to be family. Don't you have an understanding of family law? You have an obligation to take care of family that are within the third degree of kinship. Was that too difficult for you to understand? I suppose that since you only have half of the life experience that I have, you may not get it. Basically, you're telling me that I need to support you and your family financially, correct? But that only applies if we consider each other relatives. What do you mean? You have twice as much life experience than me, but you don't seem to get it. Let me explain it to you. After you kicked us out of the house all those years ago, I submitted a notice of termination of family relationships so we're no longer family. So I have no legal obligation to support you. What about Helen? We're related to one another. She can't cut us off because we're related by blood. You really need to do more research on family law. You just don't get it. Do I need to gift you a book about law? What's your point? Don't leave me in the dark. Helen's already married. She also has a son, so it's not realistic for her to take care of her grandparents, too. If she has her own family to take care of, she's not obligated to take care of you. Why? You don't get it? This is all so unfair. We took such good care of Helen when she was a small child. She owes us this. Are you talking about the time that you gave her a pair of old socks with holes in them for her birthday? Would you like us to give you some used barf bags as a return gift? Why are you being so cruel? After that, Alan's mother left the building.
Why did that patient just leave? It was her turn next.
I guess she wasn't sick after all. Well, good for her. And good for us. We wouldn't have wanted to catch her disease.
What disease? I hope that you're not referring to an infection.
No need to worry about it. I found out later from one of my nice relatives that my in-laws had to give up their home because they were too poor to keep up paying on the bills. They ended up stealing from others in order to keep on living, but they ended up getting arrested, and their arrest became a hot topic on the news.
Strange patient from the other day who suddenly left the hospital. Was that Grandma?
Oh, you figured that out, huh?
Yes, I asked one of our receptionists for the patient's name and saw that it was Grandma. I can't believe that news about our relative's arrest is all over the news. I'm so embarrassed to be related to those people.
I agree. I don't want anything to do with them. Good riddance. And we proved them wrong. Growing up in a single-parent household doesn't mean that you grow up to be a loser. Look how much better you turned out in comparison to Kevin. Kevin had both of his parents take care of him growing up, but he turned out to be a terrible person. It's not about the size of the family. As long as there's love in the family, a child will grow up to be kind and, in your case, successful too.
You're absolutely right. You did a great job raising me.
I suppose so.
But I do want my children to grow up with both their mother and father. I really missed out on not having my father around. And I'd really appreciate it if you stuck around for as long as you can, too.
Grandma, come play with me.
Of course, show me your playroom.
Grandma, you have a funny laugh. Mommy, do you want to come play with us too?
Trouble busters.